Hey, Shalom Yashala. I'm going to start off source by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakal Kodash, double honors to the apostles of GMS, and honors to you brothers doing the work in truth, more sincerity. Just a quick one. Unprecedented, right? Never done or known before. Right? What we're witnessing on the world stage is unprecedented, right? Things that, we would have never, things that we've never seen, happen, right? You're in a position now where Brits can't travel to the Americas, right? You a situation where Europeans, just can't travel freely as they used to, right? What we're seeing in the world is unprecedented. It's never, what do you call it? It's never been known or seen before, right? Here's an example of the government took the unprecedented step of releasing confidential correspondence, right? And it'll also make you think of the scriptures, right? When the scriptures say basically what the Lord is going to do, that's unprecedented, right? What the Lord's about to do to this planet, right? The pain the Lord's about to bring to this planet, that is unprecedented, right? This is Daniel's 12. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Right? So it says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation. Right, so what we're about to see is going to be worse because what has the Lord done? The Lord has delivered the children of Egypt out, the children of Israel out the land of Egypt, right? That was crazy. At that time, that was unprecedented. All of the plagues that led up before, right? Which the Lord is going to smite this place with plagues as well, right? It's what you call it? Let's grab that real quick. In second Ezra. So second Ezra 15:11, right? It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy the land thereof. Now this is talking about modern day Egypt, right? You read Revelation 11:8, it says spiritually Sodom and spiritually Egypt, right? And that's referring to the land of America, spiritually Sodom. Why? Because they push homosexuality throughout the earth, and spiritually Egypt, well, because Egypt represents bondage, right? Just like how the children of Israel are in bondage in the land of Egypt, right? The children of Israel are also in bondage in spiritual Egypt, which is America, right? It says it will smite Egypt with plagues as before and will destroy the land thereof. Right, so basically, when the Lord is finished with America, the whole land's going to be destroyed. And when you read the precepts, scriptures, right, America's never ever going to be inhabited again. Right, so it says such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. Right, so you had the deliverance from Egypt. Right, you even had Rahab the harlot say, let me grab that as well. This was a Joshua 2. Joshua? Yeah, so Joshua 2:9, it says, and she said unto the men, I know that Yahweh hath given you the land, right, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all of the inhabitants of the land faint because of you, right? So basically, Rahab's like, look, man, we know about the smoke. We don't want that smoke, right? It says, for we have heard how Yahweh dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when he came out of Egypt, and what he did unto the two kings of the Amorites that were on the other side Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom he utterly destroyed. And as soon as we heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For Yahweh your power, he is the most high in heaven above, right, and in earth beneath, right. So basically, Rahab was like, look, man, we heard what the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshua did for you, coming out the land of Egypt, right? And you know what? They ain't no. She's basically saying, ain't no point. I know the Lord's giving you this land, so just protect us, right? Protect me and my household. That's basically what her request was, right? But once again, what the Lord is about to do is going to surpass that. It's going to be unprecedented, right? Just like what you're seeing on the face of the planet Earth, right, is unprecedented. What the Lord is going to do in these last days is going to be unprecedented, right? It says Jeremiah 16:14 says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Egypt, the children, I say it, that brought up the children of Israel of the land of Egypt, right? You know, you read through the scriptures, he says, I am, you know, the scriptures say, I'm the Messiah who brought you out of the land of Egypt, or your power brought you out of the land of Egypt, right? But it basically says it will no longer be, you know, Yahweh that brought you out of the land of Egypt. It's going to be Yahweh that liveth, which that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, right? It's referring to America, which is geographically in the north, right? It says, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, right? We read Deuteronomy 28:64. One of the curses was that the children of Israel was going to be scattered amongst all the heathen nations and worship all the gods of the heathen nations, right? That was one of the curses, right? So now I'll bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers, right? So the children of Israel, after these calamities, will be returned and delivered from all of these places. If you notice, I believe all the precepts that I brought, you know, touching on this has ended with saying, you know, I will deliver the children of Israel, I'll bring them into their own land, or, you know, because that is the point, that is the aim, right? That is the end goal, right? Is to be delivered back into the land, you know, so that the Most High can keep the promise that He made all of those millennia ago to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Right, and if I can also point out what Rahab the harlot said, look, we have heard, but look what the scripture says this time around, right? It says, Revelation 1:7 says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, right? And they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen, right? So the Lord, basically, when He comes back, everyone's gonna see Yahweh Shai in the chariots, man. So it ain't gonna be a we heard, because it's one thing to hear and to be like, yo, that's fucked, right? You know, for instance, if a man, like you might hear some of the stories that them wicked ass northern kingdom, northern tribes be doing, right? Where they, you know, they'll fillet a man, make the guy, cut the man's heart out while he's still alive, or, you know, skin him, or all of this sort of stuff, man. You know, makes you go, ooh, right? But to actually see it, that's a completely different story, right? But this time around says, you know, the people are gonna see the Lord, right? And see him in, you know, in the chariots, man, right? Because that's what it refers to as, behold, he cometh with clouds. That's what the clouds represent in this particular precept, right? When many others represents the chariots, what the so-called white man calls UFOs, or used to call UFOs. Now he calls them UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, right? So everyone's going to see it this time, man. And it says, all kingdoms of the earth shall well because of him, right? So to finish off back here, it says, such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time, and at that time that people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book, right? So the destruction is going to be unprecedented, right? The trials are going to be, you know, scriptures refer to it as a time of Jacob's trouble, right? But then once again, it will say the same thing, right? So Jeremiah 30:6 says, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. That's basically saying, look, you know, does a man get, you know, have children, right? Which, because he was the devil, now you get quote unquote men being quote unquote pregnant, right? Which, you know, this man's just the demon, right? It says, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, right, as a woman in travail, and all faces turn into paleness. Basically saying, yo, well, you know, do men give birth? So why is all of these men looking like they're about to give birth, right? When you're in straits, right, that's how it feels, man, right? When you're in straits, you know, you might shit yourself or whatever, right, piss yourself, right? That's them straits, you know, when you're facing an existential threat, right? Which that word existential, you know, the first half of it is exist, right? So it's a threat to your existence, right? Says, as a woman in travail, and all faces turn into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. So once again, this idea that what we're about to come into is unprecedented, right? And there's never been a day like it, right? It says it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, right? So when this man Esau starts, implementing the chip, right? Trying to force it on Jake, be like, yo, you better take this chip. No, man, hey, you can't take that chip, right? Because you take that chip, you're gonna be destroyed, right? Because Esau might be like, hey, if you don't take this chip, you ain't gonna eat, right? But then you take the chip and he won't give you food anyway. But these times now you're destroyed, right? Whereas if you had just had faith in the Lord, Isaiah 65:13, my servants shall eat, but you shall be hungry, right? My servants shall rejoice, but you shall mourn, and that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping to basically stay in the faith, right, so that the Lord can feed us and give us drink and protect us from the calamities that are to come, right? So yeah, it says, but it is even this time of Jacob's trouble. But what's the point? He shall be saved out of it, right? So although there will be trials and tribulations in these times to come, right, the elect and their household, the 144,000 and the innumerable multitude of Israelites, right, they gonna be saved from this destruction, man, right? A whole load more Israelites are gonna be destroyed, right? But a load of Israelites will be saved, right? Through the tender mercies of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? Let me see what precepts we got here. It's Revelation 3:10 says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, right? I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth, right? So, hey, right now, would you call it? We're going through unprecedented times, but things are gonna carry on being unprecedented. Things are gonna get more unprecedented and unprecedented, right? Right up until the end, right? Right up until the end, when the salvation is going to be unprecedented, right? Because it's an unprecedented destruction, but it's also going to be an unprecedented salvation, right? So Wisdom 5 from the top says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, right? Which is starting from the apostles on down, which is what brothers have been doing, for years and years and years. And if I can make a point, as I mentioned, the apostles, you got to really give double honors to the apostles, right? And really appreciate the fact that when they came in, nothing was happening, right? It's easy for us to stay in the faith because we've got things happening, week after week. First it used to be like month after month, and it's like week after week. Now it's like day by day, on a daily basis, the situation with this, this particular virus is changing. But you got to appreciate when the apostles were coming in, nothing was really happening, but yet they kept the faith, right? And they kept, they kept strong, right? So we really gotta, not say you, Apostle Gabar hates that. He always said we always gotta say we. Says we really have to appreciate and give double honor to the apostles, right? For sticking in this thing when nothing really was happening. When before the times of YouTube, when the camps were just mainly in America. Right now, they're seeing brothers coming in from all over the world. Brothers looking, like, brothers come from Turkey. Watching from all over the world. Right from the Philippines, videos dubbed in, the Japanese characters, man. Right. So hey, look, man. So hey, we gotta give double honors, man. It says, and made no account of his labors. Right? It says, when they see it, and they see what? The salvation, right? It says, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, right? Because he was put it in his movies about men being abducted, but now they go and realize that that's the salvation, right? So we're going to look like we're being abducted into that chariot, right? It's so far beyond that they look for, yeah, because the people that are going to be going up, they ain't going to consider that, to them we're just niggas, and it goes on to say it, right? It says, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom he had sometimes in derision and the proverb of reproach, right? It's basically, this was it. We just used to call him a nigger, man, or a spick, or this or that, right? It says, we fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. Yeah, man, and Jake ain't gonna, ain't gonna amount to anything in these people's eyes, right? The little do they know they're walking in the midst of kings and priests, right? Right now, this whole situation has exposed that a whole load of people, actually, a whole load more people, know about this truth than will make out, because they brothers be getting hey man, hey, I've been you remember that stuff you used to always speak about, man. When you say it, is this related, right? Basically showing that people know, man, right? And if it does die down, you know what them same people that were hitting bros up are gonna do? They're gonna go back to being niggas, right? They're gonna go back to being niggas. They ain't gonna be like, you know what, the Lord has shown himself, right? Let me actually get right with the Lord. They ain't gonna take this opportunity, right? If it does die down, right? But you gotta be you gotta consider that as well, brothers. Don't be disheartened if this thing dies down, right? The Lord has shown himself, and the Lord has shown that he can flip this world on its head in a matter of weeks. So don't be dismayed, right? Scriptures talk about not losing patience, right? It says so I'll carry on. It says, how was he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot among the saints? Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness hath not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. Right? So yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Yeah, unprecedented, the word of the year. Right? At first you got the year of prophecy, right? That's the title of the year. When we've been seeing prophecy coming to pass. But the word that if you're in the world, the word that describes this year, for us it's prophecy, right? But it's still, nonetheless, it is unprecedented, man. What we've seen this year is unfucking precedented, right? The U.S. Just dropping a bomb on the second in command of a country, right? Taking them out, airstrike, bam. Then Iran actually hitting American military bases. That's like bad. And that's still, though, that skirmish is still ongoing, right? So as always, Lord's will, that was edifying. To the next time. Shalom.